Hey, this is Casey from Casey Grandpa Tech, where this geeky grandpa talks tech solutions, tech tips, and all kinds of tech in everything. Now, I want to talk to you today about fish. That's right, fish. Some of the things I'm going to talk to you about fish is going to make your stomach turn, and you may never want to eat fish again. Because of what they've been doing to fish, you may, after watching this video, never want to eat fish again. So stay tuned. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll be back with this fishy video. So what I'm talking about is farmed fish versus wild fish. What are the difference? What are the health benefits? And stay tuned to the very end of this video, because what I'm going to show you will make you say, I'm not eating fish anymore, unless it's wild. Anyway, in this picture that we're talking about here, this is what a farm looks like. And what they do is they feed them pellets to feed them and grow them. And these pellets, they contain, anchovies, sardines, other small fish which they catch next to the shore, which have a lot of contaminants. So these fish already have a lot of contaminants in them. The other thing, of course, now with salmon being grown, is that, of course, a lot of this is GMO, genetically altered, because when they put them in farms like this, they tend to get all kinds of worms, they tend to get sick, so they've genetically modified them to work in this environment. So the other one is they make them grow faster. Now, no one has studied the genetic change in using these fish or eating these fish on the human system, have they? So, we all say, oh, I go to the supermarket, I see the fish, but how do you know which one is farm fresh, which is from wild, which is from, and where it was harvested? We don't, in a lot of cases. And one of the things then we have to worry about is, what is the difference between wild and farm? And I'm going to go into that real quick, and then I'm going to get into this reason why I put this up. So one of the biggest differences between farmed fish and that is, of course, you're in a small environment. You're more exposed to diseases. You're more exposed to sickness. So sometimes they've been doing genetic changes to these fish so that they don't get sick. They're giving them antibiotics. Remember when chicken, everybody is now, don't give antibiotics to chicken, because the chicken, now the antibiotics get into your diet, and now they're doing that to these farm fish. The other thing is, because of their diet change, eating shrimp versus what they're feeding them in the pellets, the fish, like salmon, has 27% more fat and 15% less protein. And worse than that, they're now discovering that farmed fish, because of the change in the diet, is more likely to give you arthritis, inflammation, joint problems. Wait a minute, wasn't eating salmon and fish oil supposed to fix that problem? And now, because of farm fish, we're having more problems. I'll leave you the articles inside of the description so you can research this yourself. Now, I'm getting to that point. I told you I'm going to tell you why you won't eat fish. I'm going to tell you something that will make you kind of puke. Did you know that tilapia is the way it's grown? Is one of two ways. One, normally it eats algae. But what they do is they take it in these fishing farms, and the poop waste product that comes from the fish, they then feed to the tilapia, and they eat that. And then when they get big enough, they harvest it. But worse than that, what they also been doing is taking the tilapia and using it to recycle sewage. That's right, sewage. Now, I'm going to show you that now.
It's fantastic. Al is basically in the toilet right now, isn't he?
Yes, he is. This is basically where wastewater treatment begins. We have about 300,000 tilapia and carp in here,
right,
to get rid of a lot of the particulates.
Particulate poo.
Yes. Once they reach up to harvest size, we harvest them out and sell them.
The fish that help purify the dirty water by eating uneaten food and poo will then be sold on the market for people to eat.
Right, exactly.
That's fantastic. Al is basically in the toilet right now, isn't he?
So not only are you worried about, oh my God, now I'm eating fish that's been eating poop, but not only that, remember that sewer water is not just, has a lot of contaminants. And one of the major contaminants is, one of the problems in sewer water is people who take various drugs, you know, heart medication, dialysis, all of this, and even cocaine and things like that, they're in the water. And that water is being exposed to the fish. And who knows how much of this contaminant is being absorbed into the flesh of the fish and then being fed to humans. So this is something that you may want to consider not eating fish. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about is something good and bad at the same time. So here's a great thing that's happened is scientists in Greenland have been searching for a way to break down styrofoam. And they found that this beetle's larvae actually consumes styrofoam, and through its digestive juices and bacteria and everything else breaks down styrofoam back into the environment, which is a great thing. Okay. Or is it? We've been talking about how man then has to deal with what they got all these beetles with. Well, what do you think they're going to do with them? And one of the things I consider is they'll grind them up and feed them to the fish. And one of the biggest problems that we're seeing right now is microcontamination of plastics and contaminants that is appearing in our environment. And these things cross the blood barrier, the blood-brain barrier. So I don't know what to tell you with this, but it's a great thing, but it's something I'm concerned with, because every time we invent something, somebody finds a way to abuse it. So I hope this has been opened your eyes a little bit. Like I said in the beginning of the video, you may not want to eat fish after this. Well, really what's happening into our entire food system and food chain, they've been adding things and changing things and trying to produce more food, because wild sustainable fish and such like that is not sustainable anymore. And farming fish and all of this is a good way to get and maintain the food supply. The problem that I see, and I think you're getting to see, is that what they're doing to do that. I mean, putting tilapia in sewage systems and they get contaminated. Feeding salmon not the food that they're normally eating, so that their meat is no longer giving the rich omega proteins that it's supposed to. And other fish and other things also, they're doing the same thing. So I wanted to open your eyes a little bit. I hope that this video was informative to you. Please give us a like and a share and subscribe. Hit that little bell. I work real hard to give information to you on tech news, and I can tell you something. The tech use, the misuse of tech is also a problem in the environment. So anyway, this is Casey from Casey Grandpa Tech out. Until next time, you be safe. And don't eat any fish.